And some of those, you asked about like some of the jokes that I thought really worked. Let me give you an example. His son's fighting at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And he says to them, guys, no fighting at the table. I've told you this. And to me, it's like, right. They're like Happy Gilmore. They're aggressive and they're quick to start fighting. And then he finishes off that statement going, I told you, only fighting in the basement. I thought that was funny.
Oh.
I'm excited to be returning to Chicago, performing at the Lincoln Lodge for the first time for my own brand of sit-down comedy. Get your tickets now by going to doubletoastedchicago.com, and I'll see you soon.
This weekend, a sequel to one of the most important films in my lifetime basically came out, I think I would say.
Oh, boy.
Happy Gilmore is a movie that I grew up watching on repeat. It was on all the time. It was one of the movies that I even had on the shelf where I had a copy of it in English and I had a copy of it in French. Because that was just like how I grew up. And that movie has so much stuff that molded my sense of humor. And I'm just getting this out of the way now because I want to let people know that I am an Adam Sandler diehard. Not that I think his career is perfect. I don't think anyone would say that. But he has, for the most part, done stuff that I enjoyed. And even though he's let me down in the past, I think that there's room for him to maybe not make me upset, with destroying the legacy of something that is considered by me a classic movie. Mm-hmm. And this, I won't lie to you, in a lot of ways, this movie, it suffers from sequelitis. Just before we even get into this review, I will get that out there. And it very much lives by the George Lucas quote of, it's like poetry. It rhymes. And most of the time that can be completely detrimental to the film. But, even if a movie is typical, it can still do some interesting things. Mm-hmm. I mean, sidebar, Fantastic Four, I liked it. Didn't reinvent the wheel, right? Yeah. Very typical storytelling beats, but still an enjoyable movie. Is this one like it? Well, let's check out the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2, and I will tell you if my love for Adam Sandler was enough to make this a good continuation of a classic film.
What the hell is happening?
Was that you watching this movie?
Yeah, the whole time. The entire time.
Okay, just making sure. Pixie 2, apparently. So, this, before we get into this film, I'd like to ask you, Martin.
Yes.
Have you seen the first Happy Gilmore?
Mm-hmm, I have.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking you is because Corey, I wish he was here for this. He hasn't seen the original film.
Right.
And, but let me start out this review by asking you, what do you think of the original film?
So most Adam Sandler movies I don't care for. And I mean like the pure Adam Sandler movies, not like Punch Drunk Love or Uncut Gems or Spanglish. And I don't mean the ones with Drew Barrymore, because those are elevated. But
yeah, they have a really incredible like chemistry when they work together.
Yeah. But all the ones with Adam Sandler as the yelling man child, I didn't like any of those except for Happy Gilmore. That was the one that I didn't see when it came out, but when I did watch it, I was like, oh, this was actually funny.
I was gonna say, if even if you don't like Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison are the two.
I hate Billy Madison. You gotta be kidding me.
Okay, but we can meet in the middle at Happy Gilmore. Yeah. And as much as some people would disagree, I wanted to bring up the original just for a second, because I think the original set the bar incredibly high. I think that not only is the original a classic comedy, but I think that it it uses like some really good storytelling, especially like in the beginning of the film. And part of what makes this first movie so successful, I think, is why I think this sequel works for me, because they know why people are here for this movie. They know that people love Adam Sandler. They know that they're here to see this character. But is it enough for them? I would say yes. For me, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie, where I thought that they continued these characters, and there was a lot of like, even though it's a lot of repeating jokes, it's like repeating a running gag. You know, it's like continuing a running gag from the previous film.
That's the worst kind of comedy, is continuing a running gag, because running gags don't know when to stop running.
Well, yeah, but with someone like Happy Gilmore, and the reason I pulled up the opening of the film is because this sets up the character so well, and because there's new characters in the movie who are his kids, they start doing some of these things, and I think that continuing a joke like this really works. But let me show you what the opening of the original film had in it.
I had a lot of different jobs. I was a road worker, a janitor, a security guard.
That guy sitting there, that's Martin right now. Just completely
Look, man,
unamused.
I mean, I get it at the time, especially for your age. That was the comedy of young men, where it was all about, you know, being crude and yelling and having those kind of jokes. But you're not there anymore.
I'm not.
And he still is.
He is, but because I thought that they elevated the silliness, I think that 5 minutes into this movie, you'll know if you're here for it or not. Because like I said, with the whole sequelitis thing, it is repeating, but I thought that they were so exaggerated with the event that drives the action of this story, that this forced downfall, I thought it was hilarious. I really thought it was funny. I was surprised.
You're not.
I'm not messing with you. I'm not. I promise.
Okay. All right. Because the way you're downplaying the sequelitis, I was like, this has to be a put on.
No,
because this movie is all sequelitis.
It, in a lot of ways, it is.
Julian, in every way.
But it feels like the jokes, they're running gags that they're doing, and there's some jokes in there that I thought were actually well written.
Oh, you got to point that out to me.
Okay, I'd be happy to. I think that the character of Happy Gilmore is still like very much alive and well in this movie, and it's not a complex character. Don't get me wrong. It's an angry Adam Sandler.
No. Yeah, he's not. It's not the same kind of real anger anymore. And he does the Adam Sandler thing where we killed the wife, so now you have to feel sorry for him. A lot of times it's he looking out for a kid or he's looking out for an animal. It's always like, oh, he has all these negatives. Oh, but there's this. So he's okay. We still root for him. And man, it took no time to kill off the wife. I was like,
no,
God
they
damn.
did.
Even Disney is going, shit.
But that's what I liked that they did that, because it caught me so off guard, and I thought that it was like, all right, that's a good way to put your character back at the bottom again. It's a cheap trick for storytelling, no doubt about it. But in between that montage and like the way that the story was starting, I thought that for the most part, they were delivering on some of the lines, some of the jokes that I thought really worked. Like, I don't have it pulled up right here immediately, but what did you think of his kids or some of the other characters? Because let me just start out by saying that I don't think that each of his 4 sons are individualized characters, but they come across like almost as like like one character as a group. And like the things that they would do, I found it funny. The jokes were hitting for me, but I guess it was different for you.
Yeah, I like that he put his daughter in, and I liked her. But the sons, I could have completely done without that.
See, I thought that the Sons had good
Right,
payoff.
Pixie?
I thought that they had good payoff in there, and I can totally understand someone not being into it. But this character, seeing him back in action for me, it really worked. And some of those, you asked about like some of the jokes that I thought really worked. Let me give you an example. His son's fighting at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And he says to them, guys, no fighting at the table. I've told you this. And to me, it's like, right. They're like Happy Gilmore. They're aggressive and they're quick to start fighting. And then he finishes off that statement going, I told you, only fighting in the basement. I thought that was funny.
Oh. Okay. I mean, that joke was pretty well telegraphed, but all right. Okay.
To each their own.
Okay, all right.
I'll just say that there was a lot of stuff in here that I think is silly, and it's not even like 100% original, but within the Happy Gilmore frame of it all, and some of the things they said, like when they referenced him on Jeopardy, like I guess I'm an easy audience member because things like them, someone trying to guess his name as an answer and calling him Skippy, that got a laugh out of me. Like just for some reason, it was just, they were hitting like that for me.
Skippy? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. The idea of someone just not giving a enough to remember Happy Gilmore's name and just calling him Skippy. I thought that was funny. And another like good attention to detail in there was when he goes up to his attic, you know, and he decides to get back into golfing. There's a bunch of giant checks. And in the original movie, there's like a famous line where he's like, man, I really want one of those giant checks. So seeing that he had those giant checks in his attic, I thought that was like a nice touch in there. But, you know, it's still an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah. It's not even one of the good ones. I mean, okay, this whole premise that this Max Golf.
Yeah, the idea, so basically the main setup of the plot is there's a character played by one of the Safdie brothers who's basically more or less Jake Paul.
Okay.
And because like they reference that he has like a sports drink, you know, supposed to be like Prime. And this Jake Paul character wants to reinvent golf, and he has like a thing that he came up with, and it's he's threatening the normal golf league by doing his new and improved golf. Mm. And Happy Gilmore has to step up and save the day. He also needs $300,000 to get his daughter through dance school.
Through ballet school.
Ballet school.
Which I was first off like, that's not real. And if you didn't already have that money, you wouldn't spend it on that, because once she graduates, is she really going to be a ballet dancer? Because most of them aren't.
But she's got the Gilmore name.
So she's a Gilmore girl. What does that matter? But that whole thing with this extreme ultimate golf that will take over from regular golf. No, it wouldn't. It would just be another novelty thing that would come and go. But maybe that could have worked if they just knew how to pare it down, how to bring it down some. But that's not the Adam Sandler way. No. So it just got so ridiculous that there's a point where you're like, I don't even remember what this was about.
Well, and they call that out. That's the thing, is the movie is self-aware in a lot of ways. But the main point that I want to make as like probably the biggest flaw with this film, besides the fact that there's too many moving pieces.
So many moving pieces. I would look up or I'd wake up and it'd be like a whole new set of characters going on in this, and all the celebrity cameos. I was like, okay, you have a lot of friends. You trick Netflix into giving you money. You don't have to flex. The flex would be a tighter, good movie, but you know, what do I know?
Well, I will say, I will agree with you there that I thought the weakest thing in the movie was a lot of these cameos.
Yes.
I will say, though, that some of them, because they were so absurd, were kind of funny. And there are some that they're heavily marketing. Like, for example, Eminem, when he showed up, did that get a laugh out of you at all?
No. The scene wasn't funny.
I think that the way that I don't want to say exactly what Eminem said, but he broke the fourth wall. And I thought that was funny. So I think that he was one of the highlights. But the biggest issue with this film, and I know you'll agree with me, is
I agree already. You haven't even said it. I'm sorry.
No,
please continue.
No, no need to apologize. The marketing in this film is a little bit aggressive.
I'm sorry. Have you never seen an Adam Sandler film before? I would direct you to Little Nicky, which is a 90-minute Popeyes commercial.
I was going to say, yes, the film with one of my favorite lines from cinema that went something like, Popeyes is the shiznit. Cinema, yes. Yes. But in this, like, start talking about Benihana for no reason. Someone is like, oh, I got Gorilla Glue for that. Or the strangest thing, the Jack Daniels product placement in this movie is like, are you an alcoholic? Jack can help with that. These bottles are small, convenient. You can hide them wherever you need them, even in your grandma's dead cuckoo clock, in case you need a little nip in between things. And that's where it starts to get a little bit weird with the product placement for me.
Yeah, the Gorilla Glue thing didn't bother me so much because it's a quick one line and people just kind of know Gorilla Glue. Like if we have to watch him apply it, that would be a big, a different thing. But all the other stuff, I was like, yes. And you know what? He's done it so much, I almost don't even notice it anymore.
Hey, that was good game. So you broke a wooden hand, huh? Try Gorilla Glue. Talk about a Holden 1. Gorilla. It's all.
Where'd that come from?
That is not in the movie.
No.
That was just some ad that I saw. And that's why, like, when he said that line, it's... I just thought that was a good thing to bring up because, like, that ad is more...
You know what? That whole thing, first, him having the wooden hand, I was like, all right, Adam Sandler is always doing this with somebody who has some weird fantasy disability.
Well, that's a callback to Carl Weathers' character.
Yeah. But then that he squeezes the hand and the fingers crack. I was like, okay, not funny. Now it explains it.
Well, it's also because that's in the original movie. The cameos, like I was saying, they're the rough patch of this movie. But for me, I like this character a lot. So watching him exist, it did work for me. Not all the jokes hit for me. Okay, let me just put that out there. But I think as far as like a continuation of this movie of Happy Gilmore, we could have gotten way worse. The fact that I was able to get a belly laugh out of this multiple times, that made me happy. So I don't think that there's much more to say unless there's something that I haven't touched on that you think we should bring up.
Actually, I had thought of something and now it's escaping me. There's that thing where, that's the other Adam Sandlerism that I hated. That it all came down to a big thing about going to AA. That, well, his problems are all because he was an alcoholic, but now he's taking care of himself. He's got a chip. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, another thing to warm my heart. And I'm like, get out of here. You had all this 2 hours of all this, and now suddenly like, oh, but it's all about being sober.
To me, that bit was all about like them leaning into the sequelitis and trying to make it into like a bit of a farce because it's shot exactly the same way as the end of the first movie where he's running after the guy with the gold jacket.
Yeah.
Gold coin.
Yeah. I mean, the running, at the end. All this the stuff with Ben Stiller. I was just like, I mean, if you're gonna have him here and put that makeup on him, you can't write anything funny for him to say.
He had a couple of lines that made me laugh. I thought he was all right.
It's a whole lot of just really overacting the comedy bit and improvising without a really strong script. Like that's what just so much of these Adam Sandler movies are. It's you guys are funny. Let's show up. Let's just shoot a bunch of stuff and we'll keep the funniest things. It's kind of a seat of your pants. And without a real structure, you can feel it. It's like, this feels desperate. Like they don't know where they're going with this.
Would you like to give your rating and wrap things up? before I give my rating.
Watching this, and no joke, it gave me the feeling of watching a Tyler Perry movie.
Oh no.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Where the jokes aren't hitting and the script's not there. And it's a lot of just taking advantage of, the money that's been given and what's there. Adam Sandler at least does spend more money than Tyler Perry. He doesn't cheap out.
This movie didn't look cheap.
No. It didn't look cheap, but it also didn't look like a movie. It looked like a Netflix movie.
It looked like a Netflix product for sure.
Yeah. And so in the end, I was like, this is just empty calories. It's like you say, empty. Like you say, it's empty calories. You ate cotton candy, but you didn't get full from it. But this is like the cotton candy that has been stored in the back for a year or so, and then went back and got that one. And it's like, okay, it's all kind of crunchy and a little bit bitter. And it was good back when it was fresh, but now, blah. I was prepared to give this a high because I was just like, God damn this movie. I can't take it my time. But seeing how much you like it, I'll go some old bullshit.
Well, I appreciate it. I would not give this some old bullshit. In fact, I would give this probably a regular schmegular, almost low matinee, but I laughed consistently enough that I think that it is worth your time if you are a fan of Happy Gilmore. Suppose Happy Gilmore is one of those movies in my mind where, when you're celebrating like Thanksgiving or something, it's easy to throw on in front of the family. And, everybody's in it, and it's a great movie to have on the background. But if you're all hanging out and, the movie ends and it's like, oh, we got Happy Gilmore too, it's not the worst thing that you could throw on. And it may get some good laughs out of you. There were a few parts that were just so bizarre that I had to rewind them. They were making me laugh. And there's some decent surprises in this, I think, where it makes some very strange choices in a good way, I would say. I don't think this movie is for everybody, but if you do like Adam Sandler comedies, I think that you will be more happy with Happy Gilmore 2 than not.
The other thing it reminded me of was Coming to America 2, where we're really excited and loved all those characters from before, but watching the new one, there's a point it dawns on you. It's like, this is a pale imitation, and they don't have the spark of what made it work before. Matter of fact, with that movie, it's like, oh, Wesley Snipes was good, but everything else was just like, I don't want to admit how bad this was, but it was.
That was another thing is there's a lot of small gags in this movie and stuff where you blinking, you'll miss it. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, thank God this movie had Rob Schneider in it, because that's easily the worst thing about the film. But it was nice to see those Adam Sandler regulars who you used to see in movies like Waterboy, who had those strange characters, seeing them show up and be those strange characters and get those punchlines. I thought that was nice to see as a fan of this Sandler world, if you will.
Yeah, just don't have those nostalgia goggles when it comes to this.
And I'm fully willing to admit that I don't know if bias is exactly the right way to put it, but I grew up watching Adam Sandler, and I had a great time watching this, and I went in with low expectations. But that being said, I totally understand how you feel about this movie.
It's very gracious of you.
Oh, thanks.
No, I didn't mean it like that. But I'm glad you got something out of it.
Or would you look at that? You made it to the end of the video. That means you really like us. So just go ahead and press that like button and subscribe while you're at it. And check out our other channels, our social media like Instagram, TikTok, and our Patreon, where we have new stuff coming up all the time. And we'll see you on the next video.